I was talking about the importance of Viveka in one's life. In fact, I was trying to examine the word Viveka in various aspects of human existence, human life. You see, as a students of Vedanta, we have to look at life deeply and with an open mind, and we should not shy away from the truth. We should be ready to squarely face the truth. For example, that is called Viveka. Their importance of Viveka is always there. You see, for example, we call our existence life. On this planet, we exist for a very short time, and we call it life. And then we have what is called the meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? How do we understand the meaning of life? So we build a life, and we give it a meaning. And the life is full of activities. So many activities, they are form of what we call life. And then achievements, so many achievements. Everything has a place in life. I am not trying to dismiss altogether, but at the same time I do not hesitate to examine it with an open mind. So achievements like university degree in the young age, when we were studying in university, so gaining the degree was the highest goal of life. So then you make a career, build a family, and accomplish a few things in this world. And some religion also is there, part of it. So we are mostly worldly people. Most of our efforts are gone in the pursuit of worldliness alone. But we are very clever. I would say maybe intelligent. We are intelligent, or sometimes even clever, to put some dose of religion into it and make it very respectable for oneself and also for the onlookers of the society. So you perform a few rituals here and there and visit a few shrines, etc. And so a very respectable dose of religiosity is also added to that. That is life. And this is the meaning of life. This is how the phrase meaning of life is appreciated. Now, if you apply Viveka to this so-called meaning of life, I would not hesitate to say this meaning of life is purely conceptual. It is conceptual meaning of life. So the conceptualizing mind has given a meaning to the life, and we take it as the real thing. And a very unfortunate thing about it is this conceptual meaning of life is abruptly ended by time. Time just ends it. In a jiffy, in a fraction of a second, the conceptual meaning of life, which is built over a whole lifetime, which is built with so much gusto and enthusiasm, which is supposed to be very real. That is how we imagined all along, all these years. But time mercilessly puts an end to this conceptual meaning of life. Now the point is, what is the value of something which is ended by time? There comes the Viveka. A very high order of Viveka comes into play when you are able to look at the conceptual meaning of life and you are able to question What is this meaning of life? Is it the real meaning of life? Something which is so abruptly ended by time. What kind of a meaning of life it is? So that is Viveka. Viveka of higher order. So suppose you wait for the time to end this conceptual meaning of life. So that is what mostly people do. Then what happens, the person will be plunged in darkness. He is lying on the deathbed and he sees that the edifice he has constructed over an entire lifetime is crumbling and he cannot stop it. And it crumbles before his very eyes, and then with a broken heart his life ends. Therefore you allow the time to end this conceptual framework of life, then the person has the danger of plunging into darkness. Then what Viveka can do? Viveka can do is you end it by knowledge yourself. Don't wait for the time to end it. You can put an end to it with Viveka. So, how to put an end to it? Clearly seeing that this conceptual framework of life is time-bound, it is ended by time, and therefore it cannot be real. The reality is elsewhere. There is no reality as part of this conceptual meaning of life. So maybe I am a bit too harsh even at the very beginning of the lecture. So this conceptual framework of life, it is what it is, namely conceptual. It is an entirely a product of the imagination of the mind. A mind imagines a life, it imagines activities, it imagines achievements, and then so it creates a meaning for life. It is entirely mind-made, and therefore its worth is only that much. Whatever is mind-made, it is purely imaginary, imagined thing it is. And so you need a real strong power of Viveka to recognize the imagined as imagined and not real. So it is, that's why one needs an intense dispassion towards the conceptual framework of life to realize the truth. So this is how the Viveka, it reaches its zenith when you question the entire framework of life as it is constructed by the mind. Anyway, so just I wanted to say this as part of discussion of the word Viveka. Having said that, yesterday I was talking about the discrimination with reference to the body, and briefly I have mentioned that, and then I started the Viveka with reference to the mind. So you have to see clearly that you are not your mind. This may sound a bit odd, to say the least. When we say you are not your body, in a class like this, I can say such a statement and get away with it. But anywhere else, I keep my mouth shut. I won't say any such thing. I won't say you are not your body anywhere else. Similar, in the same way, in a class like this, in a Vedanta class, I do not hesitate to say, sir, please note, you are not your mind. So then why? What is the role of mind? The mind plays a very important role in a person's life. Though you are not your mind, as long as there is identification with the mind, so the life created by the mind alone is the life that we live. Therefore, ultimately, you have to discover that you are not your mind. But in our life there is such a powerful, strong identification with the mind. You see, it is very simple. You can always watch your mind. You can, if you pay a little attention, you can watch your mind. In fact, that is a great sadhana. Watching your mind is a great sadhana. Watching your body is also a sadhana. We think that it is not our job to watch the body. It is the job of the doctor to watch the body. So how will he watch? He will ask you, how do you feel? Then you have to watch and tell, okay, this is how I feel. That is how he will watch. Through you only he can watch the body, or through some gadgets he has to watch, through MRI or whatever. That is not the watching. You have to watch your body. And then slowly the body will reveal its secrets to you. You will get a proper understanding of the body, its movement, its functions, its behavior. All that you will get. That will help you a lot in keeping the body in good shape. But more important than body, you have to watch your mind. You can do that. If only you are earnest about it, you can watch your mind. When you are watching your mind, you are safe. Now the mind cannot take you for a ride because you are watching it all the time. So the fact that you can watch your mind shows very clearly, unequivocally, that the mind is the other. You are not the mind. The fact that you are able to watch it proves beyond any doubt that the mind is the other. But to understand that the mind is the other, to appreciate that it is the non-self, is not easy. In fact, as long as your mind is agitated, turbulent, you will not be able to even watch the mind. When you are in the grip of an intense emotion, you are so badly identified with that mental state called emotion that you cannot find any space whatsoever with reference to mind. You are so badly tied up with the mind, you will find it very hard to separate yourself from the mind, to gain a little space so that you can look at the mind. You don't get it. You just can't get it. When a person is angry, the person is not there. He is possessed by the anger. We call it avesha. So, avesha is possessing. The avesha, there are three kinds of avesha. One is bhutavesha. The demon possessed the guy. Now, when he speaks, it is not he who is speaking. It is the demon who is speaking through him. And it is the demon which is acting through him. He is under the grip of that demon, a spirit. There is no such thing, but just I am giving that as an example. There is no really such thing. It is all some mental imbalance only, nothing more than that. Don't get carried away by the word spirits possessing and all that. There is no spirits. In India, leave alone spirits. Hanuman possesses. Hanuman of all people. Buddhivata Varishtav. He is supposed to be the greatest jnani. He comes and possesses this young lady, or lady or well, whosoever it is. And then Venkateshwara, in Andhra Pradesh, Venkateshwara Swami possesses. He possesses the person. What happens is the person keeps fast, doesn't eat any food, drinks lots of tea, and therefore that tea, that caffeine, they call it paityam. That in Ayurveda they call it pitta. Pitta leads to paitya. But in English, in modern science, we don't call it paityam and all that. It is the tea, lot of caffeine only it must be, or a lot of tannins and whatever. So they cause some disturbance to the stomach and also to the mind, and so the person gets carried away or overwhelmed by some emotions, some devotion. It is not the right kind of devotion. I have a question about devotion. I will answer that. It is some imagined kind of euphoric sensation, nothing more than that, which is supposed to be devotion. And so Venkateswara Swami comes and possesses that person. Now, people are all waiting to find out what is in the mind of Venkateswara Swami. And whatever this person speaks, they attribute it to Lord Venkateswara Swami. Can you believe it? So, this is what is called possessing. A spirit possessing. Like that people take it. And a very similar thing is kama vesha, desire possessing. Means desire is a thought, but only difference is a thought comes and goes. Whereas desire is a thought which has become groove-like. It has formed a groove-like pattern in the mind. The same thought has become very powerful now. Simply saying that desire is also a thought is very simple. It is all about insight. Jnanam means insight. It is not just knowledge. The other day I was making a big deal about it. It is not that, oh, I am not the mind. I am Atma, I am not the mind. So it is not that kind of some information. That is not knowledge. That is just information only. Knowledge really means that insight. You come to know when the mind is quiet, through and through, when it is quiet, you will come to know that you are pure witness only. You will come to know that. Now you don't need any proof. You prove me. There is no proof. Nobody can prove anything to you because you are the proof. You are the proof. There is no other proof at all. So, now the goal is to gain that space, that space, discriminative space. I am here, I am what I am, and this is the mind. So you need that space. That is the miracle that we want, not some silly other miracles. This miracles is a huge nuisance in India. That's why I tend to say a word or two against it. People, well-meaning people, well-educated people, they all fall prey to the silly thing called miracles. What miracles could be there? There cannot be any miracles. Paul Brunton asked Udiya Babaji Maharaj, one Mahatma, he asked, do you know any miracles? He said, forget about my miracles. There is a miracle sitting before me. Then what is that miracle? He asked. Paul Brunton. He said, there used to, the way Maharaj told, he told there used to be a cell in your father's body. Now that cell is standing before me 6 feet tall and talking with me about miracles. That is the miracle. That is what he told. True, right? Therefore, so the point is, this is the miracle. Namely, you see the mind. You are able to watch the mind. And as you are able to watch the mind, you are in command of the mind. You see, I will ask you to see it clearly. You watch is same as you command. Commanding is not taking a stick and beating. You watch, you command. In fact, that is the only right kind of command. The manager, he doesn't go around with a stick. He just looks at things and then all the things will be in place. That is the manager. So, he doesn't display power. He has the power only as long as he doesn't display it, really speaking. So, this is very true in the context of mind versus you. You watch the mind, you are in command of the mind. Watching is not, witnessing is not a stale state. Witnessing is the most powerful state. That you are able to witness your mind is the greatest achievement in one's life. Now you are not your mind. That is not a small thing. That is self-realization. You are what you are, but you are not your mind. And then in knowing that the mind is quiet, the mind is in command, and now the mind cannot take you for a ride. The mind need not do any help to you. You don't require any help from the mind. So that is the goal of Viveka. But this goal can be accomplished by understanding the nature of mind, why it is turbulent, why it is so agitated, and unless you purify the mind, you cannot be a witness to the mind, because an impure mind holds you back. An impure mind binds you. It will not allow you to become free of its grip. Therefore, though you are not the mind, you ought to purify the mind. You got the spirit of what I am saying? There can be a question, because this is sometimes one can be very clever about it. Okay, if I am not my mind, why should I bother about my mind? Let it remain what it is. You can say that. You can say that only when it is fairly pure. An impure mind will not allow you to transcend it. Like a sick body will hold you back. An impure mind will hold you back. Therefore, you need to purify the mind. That is the introduction to this verse. Now we will say the verse one more time. Mishrasya sattvasya bhavanti dharmaha tvamanitadhyaya niyamayamadhyaha. You see, the mind is constituted by three gunas. Guna is a technical word, and therefore, knowing that it is a technical word, if you translate it as quality, nothing wrong in it. Some translation you have to give, Otherwise, you have to write Guna with a dot under N and leave it at that. You see, these gunas, we arrive at these gunas, three of them, sattva, rajas, tamas. We arrive at them by looking at the world. Based on the experience of oneself, these gunas are arrived. It is all adhyatma. Everything is in you. You have to watch it and notice it and find it. There is nothing mysterious about it. You see, you should distinguish between mysticism versus mysteriousness. Mysticism means Vedanta. Vedanta is mysticism. But mysterious is different. We don't want mysterious things. But mysticism is a good word. Please don't confuse between the two words. Mysticism means what you see, namely Namarupa, is not real. That is called mysticism. That is the meaning of the word mysticism. Therefore, when somebody says he is a Vedanta mystic, you need not get unhappy about it, because that is what you are. Anyway, this is about English words, that apart. So, there is nothing mysterious about it. You look at yourself. You see, you are sleeping. That is the tamo guna of the mind. And when the mind is hyperactive, very active, that is the rajoguna. And when mind is hyperactive, you will not be able to sleep. Because to sleep, the hyperactivity of the mind is not useful. It prevents sleep. And therefore you have to find a way. Somehow the mind has to cool down. It is wound up, and now it has to unwind and become relatively calm and quiet, and so that the mind sleeps. That is what is called you sleeping. Mind sleeps. Atma doesn't sleep. The awareness, Atma, it doesn't sleep. It is the mind which sleeps. When the mind sleeps, the sense organs sleep, the organs of action sleep, and the body sleeps. That means what? So mind is in control of all these things. The 5 sense organs and 5 organs of action are commanded by the mind. That becomes very clear. That's why when mind sleeps, all these 5 sleep. 5 and 5, 10 sleep. So now 11 are sleeping. Ekadasha. And when the mind wakes up, these 10 wake up. And so the life begins. Now Ekadasha wake up. Ekadasha. And this 11, that's why we keep fast on Ekadashi. The significance of keeping fast on Ekadashi, skipping food on Ekadashi, is that you become relatively light. When you don't take food, tamoguna is kept in check. And you sit in contemplation, rajoguna is also kept in check. And as you abide in contemplation, all the 10 organs, the organs of action 5 plus sense organs 5, 10, and the mind, all of them are kept in a quiet mode. And that we do on that particular day, which is Ekadashi, which comes every fortnight. So this is how the mind operates. So you are sleeping. That is the one mode of mind. The mind becomes less and less and less active. Almost you can call it mind becomes dull, and it refuses to function anymore, and then you slip into a deep slumber. That mode of mind is called tamoguna, tamas, which is in our experience all the time. Then you wake up and the mind becomes active. It becomes active and continues to be active. So when you walk, it is the mind because of which you walk. And when you go home after the class, that is mind. And when you watch the movie or a TV, that is mind. And when you do works, projects, this and that, make money and enjoy pleasures, all that is mind's movement only. Mind's movement expressing through various organs of action and sense organs. That is the active state of mind. That active state of mind is called Rajoguna, Rajas, activity. Then there is a third state of mind. This you have to discover. Generally people know only these two. They sleep and they are active. You see, in modern times, these executives, some of the Silicon Valley must be the origin of all these things, I suppose. So these executives, they work very hard. In fact, they work so hard that they become burnt. That is how they call it. They are burnt by the age of 40 or 45. You see, one person telephoned to me while I was in India. He telephoned to me and then asked a few things, and then I suddenly remembered. It was afternoon 3 o'clock when I got this telephone. And then I asked him, he is from New York. Now you are telephoning, what is the time there? It is midnight 2:30. What are you doing? I am going home. Now you are going home? Yes. What are your working times? Generally I work up to 1 o'clock midnight. What is that? He works up to midnight 1 o'clock and starts sometime in the morning 9 and continues to work into the night. In India also they do that. And for what? Because they get a fat salary. So they talk salary. We used to talk it in terms of months. Monthly this much is the salary. That is how we used to talk. But nowadays they don't talk like that. They talk yearly salary. And yearly salary how much? Suppose somebody says $50,000 is the average American's yearly income. $50,000. Average American's income. Now this guy says, I get 200K or 300K or whatever. Means he gets a fat salary, big salary he gets. And therefore he has to show results. And therefore he remains active, not just active, hyperactive. Whole of the day and deep into the night, he remains hyperactive. And then he struggles to get sleep. Because the mind won't cool down so readily. When you heat water to 100 degrees to boiling and then keep it aside, it won't cool down at once. It will take time to cool down. So the mind also takes time to cool. Unless it cools down and unless it becomes less active, and now it has to slip into sleep. And therefore, he cannot sleep properly. And he doesn't get the deep sleep. He falls into some kind of a tired sleep. The sleep which is more of tiredness than total deep slumber. Some alpha sleep, beta sleep, gamma sleep, like that there are sleeps. So he gets into some kind of a sleep which is not deep sleep. And in that sleep, the mind wakes up. Only one, that alone wakes up and starts playing the reel once again. That is the dream state. And then the dream ends and he goes back to sleep. And if the dream is nightmarish, then he wakes up from the sleep again, and now he cannot sleep again. Oh my God. This Rajasic mind, generally examples are given in the extreme to make a point. I am not suggesting everybody is like that, but most of the people could be like that, including some of the sadhus. Mind doesn't know that this guy is a sadhu, you know. It doesn't know. Nature is the most indifferent. Suppose a normal person, ordinary worldly person is exposed to cold. What happens to him? A sadhu is exposed to cold. The same thing happens to him. A sadhu should be respected a little by people, yes, but not by nature. Nature doesn't respect anybody. It doesn't respect anybody. It is the most indifferent thing. That's why sadhus get diabetes. Otherwise, they are not supposed to get diabetes, you know. Anyway, so the hyperactivity of the mind is very well known to people. The tamoguna of the mind is also well known to people. But the point is, do you know the quietude of the mind? That is the sattva guna. The mind is quiet. It is not sleeping. Please distinguish between the dull mind versus quiet mind. When we are talking of sattva guna, we are not talking of a dull mind. We are talking of a quiet mind. You believe me, a quiet mind is an alert mind, not a dull mind. So, a dull mind is a tamoguna, and a quiet, yet very alert. Natural, it is quiet means it is alert. You see, a person, a Zen master used to say, a person who is lost in thoughts is lost in this world. And when the mind is quiet, you are alert. You are aware. Alert means you are alert to everything. All around, you are alert to everything. You may not respond. You may not react. An alert person doesn't react. No reaction. Reaction is always rajasic in nature. An alert person, he just remains quiet. He doesn't react. And he may act, but not react. And he is aware of everything. He is not dull. He is not dumb. He is alert. He is very intelligent, very quiet, very observant, knowing everything that is going around, but remains a witness. He is not affected by anything that goes around. That is the alert mind. This alert mind should not be confused with a dull mind. Suppose I sit and I sit quiet. That doesn't mean I am dumb. There can be somebody else who is dumb and sitting quiet. They look alike. But they are not same. Therefore, that is the sattva guna. Now, the point is, A pure mind is predominantly sattvic in nature. So you have the goal before you, namely the mind which is dominated by Rajoguna, mostly that is how it works. The mind is mostly dominated by Rajoguna. All worldly people in whom the worldliness is strong, so for them the mind is dominated by Rajoguna, and this mind has to be purified. What is the purification? Reducing Rajoguna and reducing Tamoguna also simultaneously. Suppose somebody, he drinks the alcohol and so falls asleep or becomes very dull and quiet. That is not Sattva-guna. So you should not confuse it like that. Therefore, so the Tamoguna is also reduced, Rajoguna is also reduced. They will be there. Because suppose Tamoguna is not there, you will not be able to sleep at all. You will remain alert 24 hours. That is not desirable. Suppose Rajoguna is not there, then after the class also you will be sitting here, I will go to my room. You will be sitting here only. So you need Rajoguna to go home, to drive the car and all that. Therefore Rajoguna will be there, Tamoguna will be there, but the dominating factor of the mind is Sattva-guna. That is the verse. And therefore he says, Mishrasya Sattvasya. The Sattva-guna is having a fair dose of Rajas and Tamas. That is the Mishra. Mishra means mixed with a reasonable amount of Rajas and Tamas. The required amount of Rajas is there, required amount of Tamas is there, but it is mainly Sattva. That is the mind. We need that mind. So what will you do with that mind? When I have such a sattvic mind, what we call a sattvic mind, such a person is called a sattvic person. When you have such a mind, you will come to know. You will come to know. You don't know by reading a book alone. Reading a book helps, but that alone will not make you know. You come to know that, oh, this is the mind. You come to know. There is still Rajoguna. Therefore, something happens in that mind. Some thought comes. Then you know, oh, this is what it is. You know. This is a Rajoguna. You know. A desire comes. Then you know, oh, this is the mind. Oh, this is the vasana still there in this mind. You know it. Now that desire cannot do anything to you. It comes and it goes. Then suppose some jealousy. You look at this is a sattvic person, very nice person, very loving person, but he looks at someone and becomes jealous. It can happen to anyone, you know, because of the vasana, jealousy. You look at someone who is superior to you in some respect, and therefore I become jealous. Immediately I know, oh, this jealousy. I thought it is gone, but it is not gone, it is still there. I know it. Now it is gone. It won't do anything to you. A sattvic mind is a very pure mind, it is. So this is our goal, this is the goal before us. So that the faculty of discrimination, Viveka, will come. And we grow in Viveka. As the mind becomes more and more sattvic, simultaneously we will grow into Viveka. Now, how to know whether the mind is predominantly sattvic, how to know? So, you see, these are the qualities. If you cultivate these qualities, the list is being given, your mind will become predominantly sattvic. As you cultivate one quality after the other, the mind loses its rajas. And as it loses its rajas and tamas, the sattva comes into the fore. This is how you have to prepare the mind. You have to prepare it. This is This is all inner doing it is. This is nothing external. It is all inner doing. One Mahatma used to say, Hinduism is same as Hinduism. So it is all inner doing. So you have to pay attention to these qualities, dharmas. Dharma is a quality, an attribute. So, like gold is a yellow shining metal. So yellow is one dharma, shining a dharma, metal is a dharma. That is the meaning of the dharma. So an attribute or a quality. These qualities you have to acquire. How to acquire? Like the very first quality, amanitadhyaha. That is what he says. So Shankara is referring to a set of qualities described in the 13th chapter of Gita. Amanitvam adambhitvam. Like that there is a list. In fact, there are 20 of them. I am not going to describe all the 20 of them now, but I want to say a few things about something about those qualities, because they are very essential. Let us take this amanitvam. You see, people have this quality of manitvam. Manitvam means this is what I have accomplished. That is the mani. Mana is abhimana. That upasarga, the prefix abhi, you may add. Abhimana. Abhimana means, in this context, I have done. That sense of doership, kartrutvam, I have done that. So this is my accomplishment. This is my achievement. This is manitvam. You see, a person came to me. Unexpectedly we met. He said, Swami, I have a piece of advice from you, okay? He said, you see, I started a startup company and made 100 million. And now in India, I want to make a technology park. And I will take 500 acres and put a tall compound wall all around it, and inside I will provide everything. There will be no disruption of electricity. Electricity will be there 24 hours, quality electricity. Water supply will be there 24 hours. Every facility will be provided. So I am planning to do that. This will be something that you will not find anywhere else in India, which is true. Such a thing doesn't exist in India, because electricity 24 hours is something which we don't know. Electricity, it is there for some time, and sometime it is not there, which is quite fine for us. We are not concerned about it. We are doing fine with all that. But he wants to put such a place. Then he asked me, what is your take on all this? Then I told her, sir, if I tell my opinion about it, you will be surprised, and I have a feeling that you will be hurt also. No, you tell me. You tell me. Pujya Swamiji was also there when this discussion was happening. He was watching. He was eating a dosha and watching what this guy will also. Then you may not like what I tell, because I have a way of speaking my mind. I am a sadhu, what should I am not trying to curry favor with anybody, and I love the person because he is an accomplished guy. I like him, and I want him to be happy. That is my first approach. Then I told her, you see, you seem to have a lot of manitvam. You try to get rid of it. That will serve you well. What do you mean by manitvam? That I have accomplished this much and I am going to accomplish that much. This is called manitvam. You will be a happy person if you lose that. So, one may say, in Silicon Valley, we cannot make progress unless we have manitvam. Many people say like that. You need to have manitvam, otherwise you cannot make progress. Now, do you want to make progress or do you want to develop Viveka? You have to choose. That's why I have described the conceptual meaning of life. What you are calling achievement, what you are calling progress, sir, you are just dreaming. Do you know that? You are dreaming. What you call achievement and accomplishment, this and that, is all a dream. And time will end it. You believe me, sooner than anybody can expect. Therefore, don't be so proud. Be humble. Be humble in the heart. For your own sake. So, that quality of humility, a humble heart, this got accomplished. If you call it accomplishment, then it got accomplished by the grace of Ishvara. By the contribution of so many people, it got accomplished. It is not my accomplishment. So, that is called amanitvam. The Chandrasekhara Bharati, he has written a commentary on Viveka Chudamani. So, there amanitvam vidyamanaihe avidyamanairva gunaihe atmanaha shlagharupa sammanam manitvam tadrahi amanitvam. You see, the person is truly accomplished. I am not saying he did not accomplish. He has accomplished. He has achieved everything. And then he is not supposed to have that sense of, I have accomplished. That is what we are saying. So, that quality of amanitvam is sattva guna. Then you may wonder, what is this quality of manitvam? I have done this, I have accomplished this. That is called rajoguna. Therefore, amanitvam. Then the second quality, adya, is there, you know. Adya means etc. Etc. means Shankara puts etc. there. The commentator should not put etc. again. The commentator should explain what is that etc. a little more, if not all of it. So, adambhitvam. Adambhitvam. You see, somebody told me, dambha means you don't do any dharma, any righteous action or any charity, etc. The person has not done, but claims that he has done. That is dambha. That is how somebody told me. I told, sir, that you may consider it as dambha, but we don't call it dambha. We call it asatyam. It is untruth. We don't call it dambha. Dambha is hypocrisy. Not hypocrisy, it is ostentatiousness. Hypocrisy means untruth only. He has not done anything, any charity, but he claims that he has done so much charity. That is dambha. That is not dambha. That is untruth, asatyam. Then what is dambha? He has done charity and then says, I have done this charity. That is dambha. You see, if he has not done charity and claims that he has done charity, I think that kind of a quality, we don't need any lecture about it. People don't do that kind of a silly thing, right? Mostly they don't do. Suppose he doesn't have MA degree but claims that I have MA degree, he is a cheat. We don't call it dambha. Dambha is, what do you know? I am MA PhD. That is dambha. He is MA PhD. That is dambha. Therefore, so the Acharya, the Chandrasekhara Bharati, swadharma prakatanam dambhaha. So he has performed a dharma and he proclaims it, prakatana, from the rooftop. People do that. You see, people do that. You know, one gentleman, he has put Lord Krishna's idol there. It requires some amount of money to be spent. The idol has to come from Vrindavan. You cannot get it from local market. China-made idols are available here, but you don't do that. It has to come from Vrindavan. Therefore, somebody has to purchase a flight ticket from here to Delhi and then go to Vrindavan and bring it. That costs $10,000, some money it costs, $5,000 or whatever. And then you have to construct something there. another expenditure. And then you have to consecrate it, purohits, this and that, for 2 days or whatever. A big expenditure. All that he has given. And now, below that vigraham, below that idol, his name is written. It is written on a stone. It's not that you put a label there. The label will be there for a while, but goes away. But so it remains so fixed in stone, his name, so and so. Now, whosoever comes and sees that idol will read that name. And this comes under the category of dambha. Now, if I say like this, I may be thrown out of a given place also. What are you talking like this? But that is what dambha is. Then what is adambhitvam? You do all that. Do all that. People come and visit Lord Krishna's form and they pray, their devotion is brought out. So it is not a small thing, it is a very big job. And it is a very pious thing you have done. You will attract a copious amount of merit, punya and all that. But you don't put your name there. Suppose you put your name, you are not left with any punya now. Because every time somebody visits Krishna, you get some punya already exhausted. Because he reads your name also. So some punya is exhausted. Like that, by the time 1,000 devotees have visited, all your punya is exhausted now. Now you are left with no punya. Therefore, this is dambha. Bhagavan made it happen. By Bhagavan's grace it happened. So I am not the doer there. Therefore, I should not strive for gaining the good name in the society by performing a good act. My name should be known everywhere. This approach is dambha. You see, what I notice, this is always a problem for me. I face this problem. What I notice in the Shastra, what Shastra says, you find exactly opposite in the society. Exactly opposite. And therefore what happens, you go anywhere, you see everywhere dambha. All dambha only. And suppose they ask you to come on to the dais and say a few words. So what will you say? You have to say, you have done a great job, like that you have to say. That means I am doing some more dambha, I am adding some more dambha to that. Because the society is so oblivious to this basic truth that you are not supposed to proclaim your worth or your virtue like that. You are not supposed to do that. That is against the basic tenets of Gita's wisdom. But you don't find it in the religious world. In fact, I will give this donation, so what will I get in return? That is settled beforehand. And even the people who collect donations, they know the mind of the people who have to give the donations, and therefore they offer some small things. Like if you donate $101, you will get that dollar, that a small silver dollar which is put in puja. You have to put your heart in puja. Some dollar is put in puja, and that you take and put in your neck. What will you get out of it? So, but they use that. You give $101 donation, that silver dollar on which Lakshmi's photo is printed, imprinted, that you will get. And that is worshipped in the temple, and that you will get. Like that they offer. And people, they go for that. They have to give $101, but they should not expect such things, But all of this becomes so normal, so natural, so the right thing to do, like that everybody will be doing, I will be doing, you will be doing, everybody will be doing. And therefore, the element of dambha which has crept into the scheme of things, it cannot even be pointed out without hurting the sentiments of people. And then somebody may say, if we do not practice a little dambha here and there, we will not be able to accomplish big things. So this is again a conceptual framework of accomplishment. Anyway, so I am sure you appreciate what I am trying to say. So adambhitvam. Dambha is rajoguna, it is. And how to overcome, how to get rid of these qualities, the manitvam, how to get rid of it? It is easy. You notice it, it will go away. That is, it is all Hinduism. There is no effort involved. I see this is dambha. Therefore, it goes away. It is dambha. I don't need it. It is gone. So, adambhitvam. Like that, there are a few more qualities. I'll just briefly say, so ahimsa, it is coming. Kshantihi. Kshantihi is one, I want to describe this also. Again, because the public perception is there. This is kshanti. Kshanti means accommodation. That is how it is translated. Maybe the word translation may not convey the entire meaning, I suppose. Accommodation. Accommodation means what? The other person is misbehaving. That is given. Otherwise, there cannot be anything called accommodation, right? You have to accommodate the other person. If he is behaving well and if he is doing all service to you, what is there to accommodate? In spite of he is not doing any service, in spite of his misbehavior, you accommodate him. This is called kshanti. That is how it is explained quite often. And that is a perception of the people. But you see, you may want to explain it like that. You are free. You are free to do so. But acharyas have a different way of looking at it. They look at it slightly differently. So this I have seen in Shankara's Bhashya. You can see in Shankara Bhashya. It is not there before me now, Gita Bhashyam. But the Chandrasekhara Bharati, Shantihi, Paraihi Abhibhuyamanasyapi, Tan Prate Avikruta Chattatvam. It's not that he is a difficult person and you accommodate him. It is not that. He insults you. He causes injury to you. Yet, you are capable of enduring it. That's why I prefer the word endurance. I would put it as endurance instead of accommodation. You endure it because endurance is a noble virtue. You endure it, and here the Acharya points out, you endure it not grudgingly. You endure it lovingly. That is called kshanti. Means you do not hold it against him. You bless the person. You endure all the mischief that he is doing. And then, having endured all the mischief, over and above that, you bless the person. Because you continue to love the person. That is called kshantihi. You see, this is the epitome of purity of heart. That is the real purity of heart. You see, that is not a service to the other person. You should not misconstrue it like that you are doing a service to the other guy. You are not doing a service to the other person. You are doing the greatest possible service to yourself. Now you are a pure-hearted guy. And you can love, when you can love your enemy, love thy enemy. Love thy neighbor is nothing. Love thy enemy or love thy neighbor. The entire humanity is your neighbor. Love thy enemy, which only means that there is no enemy at all. That is the meaning of that statement. That is kshantihi. So, kshantihi, arjavam. This arjavam, you see, Swami, some of these Mahatmas who visited the West, they have praised the West, saying that they have the quality of arjavam. And they compared it with Indian situation and said in so many words that Indian society unfortunately lacks the quality of Arjavam. Arjavam means Rujutvam, means fair and frank, straightforward. That is called Arjavam. You see, Manasyekam, Vachasyekam, Karmanyekam, Mahatmanam. I have a thought. I think in a particular way, and I say the same thing, and I do the same thing. This is called Arjavam. What we call congruence. That is how it is called. Congruence. In Sanskrit, it is called Trikarana Shuddhi. The three karanas. Karana is the instrument, the three tools. Thought is a tool. Mind is a tool. And so, thought, speech is another tool. And action is a tool. So, these three tools are in consonance. They are in the same line. That is the Rujutvam, straight line. So, you see, we used to have a particular question in mathematics. 3 points are given. The points given means coordinates are given. These 3 coordinates are collinear. Prove. How will you prove? You assume that these 3 points together make a triangle. Any 3 points will make a triangle. And now find the area of the triangle. It comes to 0. You find the area of the triangle, it becomes 0. That means they are collinear. Right? So like that, thought here, speech and action, they are collinear. Somebody asked, sir, will you give a loan? I need 1,000 rupees loan. Then I think, yes, I can give. I tell to him, yes, I will give you. Now I don't have. Evening, I will give you. And evening he comes and you give to him. This is the collinearity. The 3 are collinear. That is Arjavam. Suppose he asks, sir, I want 1,000 rupees loan. Oh, this fellow is a crooked fellow. Why should I give to him? That is the thought. But if I say, yes, I will give you. Tomorrow I will give you. That is the speech. And when tomorrow he comes, oh, I thought I will get the money, but I did not get it. So I don't give. So this is, now the triangle has a lot of area. Big area. So this is, that is Arjavam. This Arjavam keeps our heart pure. You see, people have, this is Viveka, everything is Viveka. You see, suppose you have money, a lot of money. What will you do? You safeguard it by putting in a bank. You put it in a bank so that the money is safeguarded. Suppose you have diamonds and jewelry. You will do pretty much the same thing. You hire a locker. You have a locker of your own, but you don't trust your own locker. The bank person maintains certain lockers, they are more safe. Therefore, you put all these diamonds and jewelry into that locker and safeguard it. Really speaking, you need not safeguard money and diamonds and all that. They are worthless because you are able to keep them, they won't help you. You lose them, you don't lose anything. Paisa to kuch bhi nahi hai. You don't lose anything. What you have to really safeguard is this treasure called heart. There is a vakya like that. Kosham parirakshata kosham. Kosham is a treasure. So koshanam api kosham hridayam kosham parirakshata kosham. Like that there is a verse. There is something more to it. Only this much I remember. So this heart is the treasure. Your heart is the treasure. And that treasure, you have to safeguard it. You have to keep it pure. You should not allow any impurity to invade the heart. You have to keep it very pure. Suppose some anger, some frustration, some grievance, some ill will is entering into the heart, you should feel very disturbed. Oh, this treasure is getting stolen away. This treasure is getting spoiled. I don't want to lose this treasure. This is the real treasure. You lose this, you lose everything. Whereas this is due to lack of proper Viveka, people consider the outward treasure diamonds. What is a diamond? Diamond is carbon. You heat it in oxygen, you will get carbon dioxide. That is what a diamond is. And you want to safeguard it. And then what is a gemstone? It is a stone. Loshta. It is ashma. Ashma means a stone. Sama loshta ashma kanchana. Shri Krishna says in Gita. It's a stone. Why do you want to take a stone and put in the locker? Stone you throw. There are many stones outside. Just to throw there. You are done with it. You don't need a stone. You can put a stone as a weight if you wish. But this stone is so valuable and it doesn't serve even as a paperweight. You don't need this stone. Throw this stone. You need not safeguard it. You safeguard your heart. This is Viveka. What is Aviveka? What doesn't need to be safeguarded, we safeguard it very, very perfect way. And what needs to be safeguarded, we ignore it. That is Aviveka. Therefore, we have to safeguard the heart. You should be very alert. If it is becoming impure, oh my God, this is impurity, I don't want it. So, like that, so Arjavam, and just I am reading the list, it is a lot more things are there. Coming to the end of the list, Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. That is 18th, 19th, and 20. Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. The list I remember, but what the Acharya said, I am looking at it. He says, Atmanam adhikritya pravurtam, Atmanatma viveka jnanam, Adhyatma jnanam. You see how clearly he says? Jnanam is, viveka jnanam is the jnanam. Because we are talking of the means, you know. The means cannot be is Atma jnanam. Atma jnanam cannot be the means, it is the end only. Of course, this means alone fructifies or transforms itself as the end. But now it is the means. What is the means? Viveka jnanam. So, Adhyatma jnana means Atma, Anatma, Viveka jnana. Means you have to be constantly alert, perseveringly alert, Nityatvam, towards the body as the non-self. Body is the non-self. Suppose body is disintegrating, that is what it is, that is what it has to anyway. That is the flow of time, that is the flow of nature. So it has to disintegrate, it is disintegrating. No issue at all. No, it is having some pain. Okay, if it is having some pain, take care of the pain. Physical pain. You see, if you give up all your psychological attachment to the body and that emotional concern about the welfare of the body, if you give up and if you remain mostly unidentified with the body, you see, students should live mostly beyond the threshold of body consciousness. It is not even difficult. Just you have to tune the mind properly. When you do that, the body mostly remains healthy. It is our concern, overbearing concern for the welfare of the body that makes us sick. Elderly people, there are any number of people, they never knew where is the heart, whether it is on the left side or right side, they never knew it. They lived happily without any concern about the heart. And when the blessed thing has to stop, it stops. What are you going to do about it? You cannot stop it. People assume that they can stop it. They cannot stop it. It has to stop. Let it stop because it has worked so long. It is time that it stop. It is a thing to be welcomed, not to be worried about. So that kind of a rugged unconcern about the welfare of the body. Don't be foolhardy about it. Be practical and pragmatic and the body needs some service, please do it. But don't pamper the body. You manage the body. Keep it in its place. Don't pamper it. All this becomes possible when the Viveka is in place. Atma, Anatma, Viveka. How long? As long as we breathe, the Viveka should be there. Always alertful about the discrimination. I am not the body. Once you say, in the class, you say, I am not the body, naham deha, sloka. In the class, you say, I am not the body, I am the Atma. I am the Atma means what? You are not the body. Body is not the Atma. So, when you say, I am not the body in the class, the moment you step out of the class, you should not contradict yourself. Suppose you say in the class, naham deha nendriyani, all that slokas you say, and you go home and do everything to reinforce body identification. So this kind of self-contradiction doesn't serve any purpose. So at all times, no identification with the body, and any particular value which reinforces identification with the body has to be rejected. We don't need it. No value of that kind is needed. Just reject it. So, that is Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. Then mind. Mind is not Atma. Therefore, watch the mind. Always watch the mind. Be watchful of the mind. In this context, I will tell a principle. You are in bondage of samsara by inadvertence, by not paying attention to your mind. You allowed the mind to have a free run, and you have allowed the mind to tell you what is the real, what is life. You have allowed the mind to tell you what is truth, what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. You have allowed the mind to tell you all of these things. You have relied upon the mind too long, for too much, for too long. You stop. That's why you are in bondage. That is the single cause of the bondage. Entirely because of inadvertence, we are in bondage. Therefore, you can get out of the bondage of samsara by paying attention. Lack of attention makes us bound. Paying attention will take us away from bondage. Therefore, be attentive towards the mind. Watch the mind. That is meditation. Watching the mind is meditation. Being alertful about the movement of mind, how the thought is moving, the movement of thought. So thought is it tries to manipulate. Be alert. No, don't manipulate. Thought wants to tell an untruth. No, I am not going to side with the thought. Thought wants to hate. No. Thought wants to divide. No. Like that, be watchful. That is called Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. So, and finally, then Tattvavidananda Artha Darshanam. So, having acquired that Viveka, you will understand Darshanam, the vision. You see, what is the vision, you know? If I get money, that keeps me safe, that makes me happy. That is the vision of the people. It is not a vision at all. It is the travesty of a vision. If I enjoy pleasures, that is a success of life. That is not success of life. That is a failure of life. Bhoge roga bhayam. The more a person enjoys sense pleasures, he becomes prematurely old and he becomes sick. Therefore, that is not the vision at all. Then by doing some merit, I will go to heaven. This is a religious thing it is. What kind of vision it is? Having gone to the heaven, the person only will come back from the heaven. So, you see, anything which goes up by Newton's law has to come down. So that applies to this evil going also. Therefore, what kind of a vision it is? Then what is the vision? Tattvavidananda darshanam. The vision is the reality, the truth, the reality of the world, the reality of God, and the reality of myself. It is all one reality, all three rolled into one. Tattva, you know, and truth is one. Truth is not multiple, truth is one. The same truth appears as myself here. The same truth appears before me as the world, and the same truth appears as God worshipped by me. Therefore, the truth is the world, the individual in the world is the same truth, and the individual worships the God, that God is also the same truth. This is the vision. That vision, that is the goal for me. That is Tattvavidananda darshanam. So this is how one has to one has to prepare the mind. So Swami Vivekananda has termed this process as buddhi nirmanam. You have to construct the mind. As you construct the mind in the right way, then the mind will not be an obstacle in the path of self-realization, and the mind, a pure mind, will even help to gain the insight about oneself. Now that concludes today's lecture. Now I will answer a question. It is about bhakti. This will come in the class, so I need not answer this separately. This bhakti question will come separately. It is coming in the same verse, so I will describe it tomorrow. Then here is a question about an organization that represents God as the Supreme Father and all that, and so we are children of that God, which is fine. You see, we are children of the God in the sense that we are an integral part of God. Amsha, amshi, you may take it like that for a while. So, mamaiva amsho jiva loke, jiva bhutas sanatanaha. You see, the expression is easy to make. We are children of God. Very easy to say like that. But its import, its purport has to be properly appreciated. I tell you how. This vakya is there in Gita. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhutas sanatanaha. You are the individual. Now, I ask you a question. Where do you belong? You belong somewhere. Suppose they ask, in this country they ask, where do you make your living? I make my living in Florida. So Swami, where is your place? My place is in India, in South India. Like that, we always feel that we are connected to a place. We belong to that place. I am connected to that place. This connectivity, this is how we connect ourselves in mind, in our thinking only. Physically, you are not connected to anything. That's why we are able to travel from one place to another place and all that. So, in our thinking, so psychologically, we feel that we are connected to this world. Not in one way, in 101 ways, we feel we are connected to this place. Suppose you say, I am an Indian, means you are connected to this world. I am a Punjabi, you are connected to this world. I am an American citizen, you are connected to this world. So like that, I am the son of a set of parents, so and so. That means you are connected to this world. My family name is this. You are connected to this world. Our ancestral place is that. You are connected to this world. I was born such and such a date at a given place. You are connected to this world. So, we in our folly or in our ignorance, we connect ourselves very strongly to the world. But the fact is the opposite. The fact is, you are in the world, but you are not connected to the world. You are in this world, jiva loke, you are in the world, where all other people are also there. All life forms are there. You are in the world of all life forms. But you were never born. Therefore, you are not connected to this world. Sanatanaha. You are not connected to this world. Then to whom am I connected? I am connected to God, Ishvara. That is what my connection is. It is like saying, so I am in India, but I do not belong to India. I am not an Indian citizen. I am a Britisher. I am an Englishman. Though I am in India, I am not connected to India. I am connected to Britain. Like that people say. So in our heart of hearts, this is how we should cultivate. That is bhakti, real devotion. Namely, I am in this world, but I am not of this world. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, the boat is in the water. The boat should be only in the water. It should not be on the shore. If the boat is in the water, even a child can move it. If it is on the shore, 10 people cannot move it. That is the wrong place for the boat to be. The right place for the boat to be is the water. But water should not be in the boat. Similarly, you be in the world, but don't be of the world. Don't allow the world to be in you. Then what should be in me? God should be in you. Of what am I? I am of God. That is the meaning of God's children. So I love to give this example. This wave is there. Wave and ocean, that is the example. This wave, it is anxious to embrace the beach. It comes out of it wants to come out of the ocean. It originates in the ocean, but it wants to give up the ocean behind, leave the ocean behind, and embrace the beach, a silver sand and all that. Waikiki beach is very beautiful beach, very costly beach. Beachfront properties are very valuable, and so this wave, it wants to embrace a piece of that beach, but it doesn't belong to the beach. Even as it tries to embrace the beach, it will be pushed away and it has to go back into the ocean where it really belongs. It doesn't belong in the beach. It doesn't belong to the beach. It belongs to the ocean. We are like that. We do not belong to this world. We are guests here. We have to go back to our source, which is Ishvara. That is the meaning of saying God is Father. And then God is not only Father, He is Mother also. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva. Here the question is about a sect which talks of God as Father only. It doesn't talk of God as Mother. It talks of God only as a Father. And then between the Father who is God and we the children of God, there is another gentleman in between who hails from some Indian state. So that kind of, that becomes very sectarian, Therefore, we don't need to be sectarian in our approach. We need to be universal. Hindu Dharma is universal. It is not sectarian. You don't want it to make sectarian. So true Hinduism encompasses all. Therefore, we should avoid being sectarian in the name of religion. And then God is Pita, Father. He is not only Father, He is Mother also. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva. You should understand the significance of that statement. Suppose you say God is Father, then He can have a form. He can have a form. In all probability, He must be having a form because He is Father. But if you say God is not only Father but also Mother, now the form is out of the window. There is no form anymore. Now what kind of a form it could be? There is no form anymore. Therefore, the God who is both Father and Mother only means He is the source, He is the sustenance, He is the reality into which we go and merge. He is the only reality, and I seem to be coming out of it. I never came out of it. I seem to be separate from it. I am never separate from it. I am part and parcel of it as long as I feel like an individual. But once this personality is resolved, like the river merges in the ocean, I am one with God. That is the approach. It should be the approach should be like that. Instead of that, you say God is the Supreme Father. Then there is a local, the father who gave birth is anyway there. In addition to the father who gave birth, there is another local gentleman who is like a father-like figure, who will guide our destiny and all that. And then you belong to a group of people. They are all my brothers. The rest of them are all others. These particular people are our brothers. And then before 2012, you have to convert or you have to join the group. Otherwise, in 2013, Pralaya will come, Doomsday will come, and you will be lost out. They used to say 1999, but now 1999 came and went, and Y2K came and went. Now they were saying 2012, so it has come and it is going. Now they have to readjust it and say 2016. So you should not fall into all this. These are all silly things. We should avoid all that. You should stay with Shankara, Gita. That is not sectarian. That includes all sects. That blesses all sectarian thinking, but yet raises us above all sectarian thinking. So that is my answer to that question. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti. Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu.